Good morning. I'm excited for this time we have together to acknowledge your hard work and dedication over this spring semester and the academic year. As the world pandemic shifts and evolves, we're seeing positive news in Maryland and Montgomery County that reassures me we may soon be able to think about returning to campus for the next normal. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you in person, either in the fall or spring of 2021 or 2022. Thank you for your support of our students, and your success is evident in the students' perspectives on their experience at the college, which we'll hear more about in a few moments. I can't say it often enough. I can't say it loudly enough. I want to acknowledge that you made it. You excelled, and you have changed student lives in very positive ways under very trying circumstances. Your innovation, your excellence should be applauded. Thank you. It's now time for that much anticipated celebration at commencement, and as importantly, downtime for each of you to recharge, reflect, and think about the extraordinary academic years we have completed. Congratulations again, pat yourselves on the back, and if you have the opportunity, go to an outdoor party. Today is an opportunity for us to have a conversation together, although apart, with our students. This is a quick overview of our meeting today. We have several students joining us who are graduating and who have excelled during this very unusual time. As we engage in a conversation with our student panelists, as I mentioned earlier, please feel free to ask any questions you may have in chat, and we'll include your questions as the opportunity arises. Now it's time to begin and introduce the student panelists so you can hear a little bit more about their many accomplishments. It's my privilege to have the first student to introduce, and I have the opportunity to introduce Ms. Cindy Tran. Ms. Tran is a general studies STEM major here at Montgomery College. She is also a Montgomery Scholar and the Rockville Board of Trustees Scholar. And unbelievably, she is also graduating with a 4.0 grade point average. It is truly remarkable. Born and raised in Montgomery County, Ms. Tran believes that Montgomery College gave her the space to explore her desire to connect with others and make health more accessible in a student setting. At Montgomery College, she founded and served as president of the Yoga Club, a space where students from all avenues can convene to connect and practice mindfulness. Combined with the club's community, the Yoga Club has provided a sanctuary for students to be vulnerable and receive support, something that we all know has been extremely vital during this COVID-19 pandemic. She also did not have the opportunity to mention, because she didn't know, that her yoga club won a student award last night at the Student Affairs Awards event. So she has even more reason to be thrilled at the accomplishment and her founding of the yoga club. As she graduates from Montgomery College, Ms. Tran shared that she's excited to pursue a degree in public health science at the University of Maryland, College Park, as a Frederick Douglass Scholar. Later in life, Ms. Tran aspires to become a physician assistant to connect with patients, empower them, and provide them with a better understanding of their health. As a health professional, she hopes to practice medicine holistically and make healthcare more accessible to disadvantaged populations. Let's all do a virtual welcome for Ms. Tran. Yay! Now it's my opportunity to turn the mic over to Dr. Kenamui to introduce Miss Lillian Wales.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kelley. It's my pleasure to recognize Lillian Grace Williams. Lily applied to Montgomery College because of its excellent reputation and connection to many outstanding universities. She came to MC during her senior year as a dual enrollment student. Lily is a mechanical engineering major with a perfect 4.0 GPA. She has maintained this record while doing an internship at NIST, where she does research on the Rockville hardness test to measure the hardness of the materials, specifically metals. Lily is an active member of Montgomery College's chapter of Engineers Without Borders, as well as vice president of the STEM Education Club. She just received Dr. Harry Harden Student Academic Excellence Award. She is also the recipient of the Frank Verweebe Award. This award is named after Dr. Verweebe, who was the founding chair of the engineering department and a former member of the Montgomery College's Board of Trustees. Lily has been accepted to the University of Maryland Clark School of Engineering in the fall, where she will complete her bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. She is an intelligent young lady with a bright future ahead of her. Please help me congratulate Lily on all of her accomplishments.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Kennedy.
Thank you, Dr. Kelley.
And next we have with us Audrey Rapp, and I have the privilege of turning over the mic to Dr. John Colleton to introduce both Audrey and Allah Sharaf. Dr. Colleton.
Thank you. I am so pleased to introduce Audrey Rapp, one of my students, although she was excellent well before I ever met her. She is a member of Phi Theta Kappa National Honor Society, the Alpha Beta Gamma National Honor Society for Business Students. She did just recently was awarded the Dr. Harry Harden Jr. Student Academic Excellence and Scholar Award. She is a co-president of Enactus and a co-leader of the Raptor Tank Business Competition. She won the Outstanding Business Student Leadership Award and a Frederick Douglass Scholarship finalist at University of Maryland. In addition to all of that, she also contributes over 100 hours per semester to the MBI initiatives, such as the MBI Cafe, MC Enactus projects, and attended weekly non-credit seminars. Ms. Rapp, welcome. It's good to see you. I'm also pleased to introduce Ms. Allah Sharaf, and Ms. Sharaf is the winner of the Rockville Presidential Scholars Award. She's also the founder of the Advocacy for Community Empowerment Club. She's a member of the Muslim Association, the Debate Team, and the Investment Club. She wrote articles for the Red Jacket Literary Magazine and the Advocate newspaper, and was treasurer for the Organization for Arab Culture. As a general studies major, she plans to study public health and economics at the University of Maryland. Welcome, Ms. Sharaf. It's nice to meet you.
Great, and that concludes our introduction. Everybody give them a hand. And now I'm going to ask them to unmute, and we're going to start our conversation to make it possible for us to learn a little bit more about what is it about MC and what is it about each individual student that led them to this exciting and momentous conclusion to this part of their educational journey. So I'm going to start with Audrey. Audrey, I appreciate your willingness to take this question. So tell us a little bit about what made you choose Montgomery College, but as importantly, what made you stay?
Yes, so I chose MC very early on in high school. I knew right away I wanted to come to MC, especially because I knew its reputation. And right off the bat, I knew that it was an excellent college to go to be a stepping stone to help me get to my next institute, not only with my educational goals, but with my career goals. And I had two teachers in high school that were really pushing me to apply to the Macklin Business Institute, since it kind of met my interests in my educational learning style. So once I got accepted, that was the main reason I stayed at MC. But along the way, there were so many teachers I met that just kept encouraging me throughout my experience. And I just loved the whole program and the whole atmosphere. And it just was the perfect place for me to grow.
So that's a really important point. It's all about growing and feeling a part of a community. Ala, what made you feel a part of a community here at Montgomery College? How did you find your people?
Well, I mean, I was accepted into the Montgomery Scholars Program in high school. I had applied to, and I knew that I wanted to go to I was considering my options. I was also awarded a scholarship to go to George Washington, but I knew that I wanted to balance a heavy schedule with internships and working. And I did want to still explore different fields. And my sister, who had been previously in the Montgomery Scholars Program, recommended that I apply to the program and possibly consider accepting it. And then I met the faculty members and the students, and I immediately clicked with them. I knew that I wanted to accept accept the Scholars Program, and I wanted to join it. And they really became my community over the next 2 years. They're my friends, my support systems. Whenever I have to like stay up for an all-nighter, they're there alongside with me writing their papers, and we're all kind of sobbing 3 a.m, but it's okay. And they became my support system. I found students all across the campus. It's so diverse, and I found people who I could relate to and share different interests with, whether it be the MSA, the Muslim Student Association, which I became the president of, or any of the other clubs. Montgomery Scholars Program, as Cindy said, really became like a family, and everybody was so accepting. It was really amazing to be a part of it.
Well, thank you so much for that. And Cindy, I see you making a comment here about the family feel of Montgomery Scholars. How did your experience, what was it similar or different from Ala's?
Yes, I completely agree with everything that Alea said. Montgomery Scholars was the reason that it was my first pick. I wanted to join Montgomery Scholars, and when I was accepted, I jumped on it. And on paper, if I were to explain on paper, it's an interdisciplinary honors learning program. But beyond that, if I was to describe it to prospective students or parents, it's a learning community. It's a family. And growing up, I always went to competitive schools. Like my high school was very competitive. So when I went to Montgomery Scholars and Montgomery College in general, I was surprised by the balance between very strong academic rigor, but also having that balance with care from my professors, care from my fellow students, my peers. And it was one of the first places where I felt that we were working together to build each other up instead of competing with one another. In fact, when many scholars became Frederick Douglass finalists for the scholarship. And at first, for the first moment, I was nervous because, these students are incredibly hardworking, amazing resumes, intelligent people. And I was nervous to compete against them. But that moment passed, and then we worked together, and we did mock interviews together. We asked questions and shared information with one another, and we all ended up getting full scholarships. All of us that worked together. All of
Congratulations.
us. Yeah.
That's fantastic. That collaboration, that peer engagement, as well as probably friendly competition, made a big difference.
Yeah, that's so special about Montgomery College. We help each other. We build each other up.
Eric?
I think we have like a question that sort of relates to the idea of support, and sort of family. The question in the chat is, how difficult was this last year for you students, and how did you manage to excel in the remote environment? Because not for nothing, you have all clearly excelled. So how did you thrive in that? And how were you able to remain active?
So maybe Lillian can start because she's in an area that's somewhat hands-on in
That's
mechanical
true.
engineering. And you had a very interesting and unusual situation. Tell us a little bit about your perspective, Lily, and then I'll see if Allah, Cindy, or Audrey would like to follow up.
Oh, I would say that even though I went to a virtual learning environment, I never changed the way I studied. So I see some memes that say, oh no, we're gonna have to learn how to study again because we're going in person. But I would say that even in the virtual learning environment, the same studying tactics work. So I would still try to prepare for a test at least 4 days in advance, minimum 3 days in advance. For a final, I would try to study 5 days minimum in advance. And if it was really hard, try to do a week in advance for the final. So I would say if you carry your same steady habits, even though you are no longer in person, you can definitely excel in making full use of your resources, like your professor's office hours, or your or this tutoring center, which MC has a very nice tutoring center, which I went to very often actually. Whenever you're confused, just go straight to the tutoring center and admit I'm confused, please help me. You know what I mean? That really helps. Even though you're virtual, just using your same studying tactics works.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
Great. Anyone else like to comment? I think Professor Swanson has another question for the chat, but Audrey, Allah, or Cindy? How'd you succeed in this unusual, different, and completely unexpected academic
Unprecedented. Yes.
I can add on to that a little bit. So I did keep my studying habits pretty similar to what I was doing in person. And I work really well with feeding off of other people's productive energy. So I would do a lot with holding Zoom meetings and holding study sessions. And we would just meet online once a week, maybe twice a week. Anyone could come and join. And the room would be open. Didn't matter what subject you were working on. If someone needed help, you could try and help them, because I kept it a lot into the MBI program, and a lot of us were taking similar classes or already took that class. So we're there to help each other. And using that peer network really helped, especially with coming up on exams. And then with the Zoom fatigue, we were able to keep each other motivated and keep each other going.
That is a really great idea. Eric, what was the question that flew by in the
other
chat?
one is, and I think this is also really goes to the heart of our experiences. The chat is asking, what advice would you give to prospective students about how to succeed at MC? Now that you're on the tail end of it, anything that you would do sooner? I mean, it sounds like Lillian is ready to be chair of media arts with her study habits and everything. But anything, any advice you have for success for prospective students?
Allah or Cindy, what's your advice for prospective students?
I mean, I can start off with answering that. I really think that something that makes MC so special is that there are so many opportunities. I mean, the location of the school is amazing. You've got such a tight-knit community, and you can really make a difference because it's still that perfect balance between, yes, there are a lot of students, but it also manages to feel tight-knit and close. So I think the first thing I would say is get heavily involved, meet new people. I know Ms. Roche is in here. I was part of CAB, so the Campus Activities Board and the Student Senate and the budget panel. And just, you have to get involved because that makes the experience so much better. And you build your own support system based around these people, and they encourage you to do better and encourage you to continue pushing. And it's easy to kind of fall apart or just not want to continue pushing yourself if you don't have a solid support system. So that would be my first piece of advice. My second piece of advice would just be, reach out to the professors. They're there to support you. They've been amazing. Even during the pandemic, they were willing to accommodate students and work with students. It really felt like, at least in my opinion, the professors that I knew, the faculty members that I interacted with, they valued the student over simply the deadlines or the grades. They were willing to work with students to make sure that students succeeded and were excelling in the classes and were doing all right, generally speaking. So reaching out to students, reaching out to the professors and the faculty members, having that support system and staying organized, just having calendars and basing your time around it. I've got 5 calendars that I rotate between and I use them for different things.
Just
I like
5?
wake up. Yeah, just 5. The first thing I see is a calendar. The last thing is I see is a calendar, but it works. And I think it's a really important way to visually see everything that you have to get done and the meetings and the dates. And it's a great tool.
Okay,
That's it.
fantastic. Any other questions in the chat?
Yeah, I have all the questions. Dr.
for it.
Kelley. I apologize. So, and again, another good question is how, because all of you are clearly sort of laser focused on your goals. How important was advising to your success? Did you find out you utilized it a lot, a little?
I paid attention to the recommendations. So when I took my schedule to my academic advisor, I believe Dr. Day, and he would tell me what classes meshed well together because he knew how I was as a student, like my drive, and so he would tell me what I could do and what he would suggest me not doing, like what classes to pair together each semester. And I followed his advice, and that worked really well. So definitely listening to your advisor telling you what classes to pair together because they know the classes. So listening to them would definitely help you best succeed.
Yeah, I'm curious, does anybody else have any experiences with their advisor? This is sort of data I'm really interested in hearing. No pressure.
We haven't heard from Cindy. Cindy, did you want to weigh in?
Yeah, I can definitely speak up on this. In terms of advising, I went to a lot of faculty. So I went to some faculty for like academic, my path, that track that I wanted to do, advising for that. But I think the most beneficial advising that I got was from faculty who weren't necessarily advising me on academics, but were giving me life advice and encouraging me when things were a lot, because virtually things became a lot and it was very isolating in this COVID environment. But when I had professors who were willing to meet with me just to talk about life, and then sometimes the academic advice would come in with that, I think that was the most beneficial. And it felt like I was safe, and I had professors and people who cared about me and who had this life advice and this experience and were willing to share it with me. That was the most beneficial advising that I got by far. More beneficial than the academic side of things.
Sure.
So, yeah, Audrey, did you want to say anything about advising?
Yeah, I was just going to mention that I had 2 fantastic advisors, Professor Weiser and Professor Bake, helped me a lot. I feel like in the beginning of the semesters and over the summer, I was talking to them a lot about my classes and reorganizing my schedule. And they were fantastic with helping me navigate the best classes that would fit all my extra stuff going on. So it really helped me just learn how to organize and prioritize things and just set myself up for success for not only my first year, but my second year. There were some prerequisite classes that weren't necessarily prerequisite but they definitely helped me for my second year.
Mhm. Well, that makes
We're going to
sense.
move back into Eric's questions in chat in just a moment, but Audrey, why I have you, we really were impressed with your virtual background. And many of the students at the college, and this may go for Lillian, Ala, or Cindy, are doing something in addition to going to school that impacts their time and attention. Could you tell us a little bit about what you were doing, how you got involved with this, and what impact MC may have had, or the faculty or the staff, on your business and your education?
Yes, so while I was at MC, I've been running my own graphic design business, Rose Design LLC. I started it up in my senior year of high school. And once I got into the Macklin Business Institute, I really started developing my business. And I learned a lot throughout my time at MC about networking and reaching out to different professors and hearing their input about my business and how I can improve it. I learned a lot through my recent accounting courses of how I need to manage all of those important things. And I've just learned so much that I had no idea existed before. And being able to work inside the MBI Cafe, that's helped me apply some of my own graphic design skills there and help develop my portfolio a little bit more and take those professional experiences through the cafe and Enactus and apply them to my business. And it's made me very successful.
And didn't you say something about some number of clients you're managing?
Yes, during the school year, I've had about 9 clients. So that's been fantastic. They've all been very good. I always make sure to tell them I am a college student, and they're so responsive to that. And they always make sure to give me their deadlines way ahead of time. And they're so good about rescheduling meetings and making sure that we're just communicating well. And I love my clients. They're great. And I've had great success with them over the school year.
Well, that's great. So Eric, what questions did we have from our audience to follow up on Audrey's very inspiring information?
Absolutely. Yeah, again, I have all the questions. So to take a bit of a tangent, detour back into advising, there was sort of a follow-up question to that of, how did you find your advisors? And was it easy for you to find them? Was it a quick search, or was it the instructors in your class?
So Ala and Cindy, you were in Montgomery Scholars. Was there an advising element there? And then Lillian, didn't you mention Don Day, the inimitable, ever-present Don Day? But did any of you on board and say, I need an advisor, because we have a whole cadre of professional advisors? Did you speak with any of them at any point? Lillian, why don't you get started? I think you mentioned Don. Is that right?
Yes, Dr. Day, I believe he is the official advisor for the engineering and possibly the physics department. I can't quite remember how I was told he was the advisor I should go to, but it was made pretty clear early on that he was the person. I think my professors had told me that. And I know that I remember my professors also saying this, that MC was trying to get all of their professors to become advisors in their department. And so I also went for advice a lot for my regular engineering professors, like Professor Garrison Mogren helped me a lot with my schedule as well. So I believe a lot of the professors at MC are actually qualified to advise you in their department, along with the department's official advisor.
Correct. They are very proud. They are very proud of their program advising, and they take it very seriously. I'm sure you found out in your experience. Ala, what
what was it that you said?
we were asking about your advising journey. How did you identify your advisor? And then who did you resonate with in terms of advising over the course of your academic career?
So in the Montgomery Scholars Program, we have 2 advisors specifically. I was paired with Professor Present in the beginning, and she really became she really was so supportive and helped me kind of figure out my schedule early on. I changed my career path and my plans multiple times. I came into this bioengineering. I came into MC bioengineering and was heavily debating different fields, law, medicine. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to pursue. I just knew I wanted to do something that was related to like the humanitarian field, but I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. And yeah, it was really kind of general. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just here. And Professor Present just helped me guide myself and figure out what I didn't want to do and what I did want to do. And what I didn't want to do really helped me eliminate options. I did like different internships and I was like, I can't do office life. I can't do office work. And that just helped me narrow down my options. And she was amazing and always just kind of went with it. You know, if I wanted to bring in another element or toss in a couple classes that I just wanted to explore, she was always there for it and just, you know, worked with me, sent me follow-up emails like, this is what you have to take. This is what you should look at taking for the summer. So Professor Present was my counselor and who guided me really to figure out what I wanted to explore.
Dr. Kelley, may I quick comment here? As Lily mentioned, we at the engineering and the computer science department, we put a lot of effort and resources on the program advising. And we have 12, we have many faculty, but 12 faculty are trained as an academic advisors, each assigned to about 20 plus students. I can't emphasize the importance of program advising for the students. So once they get through the onboarding, I think it is very important to guide them through seeing an academic program advisor. Allah, we would just write me an email. We would be happy to guide you through bioengineering. Great career.
Can I add something to that too? To what you said? I'm the director of the Montgomery Scholars Program, and well, what we highly value is the connections that we have with different programs. So specifically, we do have an engineering liaison with the engineering department. And so what we do is, while we do have the Montgomery Scholars Program, as Alea pointed out, we do have designated advisors and counselors within the program. They are general counselors, but at the same time, we try to establish liaisons. And we, when we have an engineering student, we immediately direct the student to the engineering department and the engineering liaison, so that the student gets specific advice on the engineering courses. So I just wanted to add that.
Well, thank you. And I know that the audience is very engaged because these students are so fascinating. I'm really having a wonderful time. And Eric, you said you had more questions. Go for it.
I did. And this one, we can maybe start with you, Audrey, because I think your design work touches on this a little bit, but I thought leave it to Dean Benjamin to come up with some great questions. So you all had amazing community service that you've participated in outside of MC. The question is, how did that service outside of the college inform your experiences at the college?
So through my graphic design business, I've been able to actually be a volunteer for many nonprofit organizations and do design work for them. So I've done a lot for local horse rescues and shelters, and I've helped them. And that's actually translated to my role inside of Enactus. In my first year, of Enactus. For those who don't know what Enactus is, it's a global organization where student entrepreneurs are able to create projects, nonprofit projects, to affect different communities, either local or globally. And in my first year, I really noticed that one of my roles could be a graphic designer in helping these projects be marketed and help communicate to other students that these projects were going on and that you could be a part of these projects. And I helped develop some logos for the projects. And I also helped with Raptor Tank, which is MC's business pitch competition. And I had an excellent time helping to market Raptor Tank this year, even during the pandemic. And it's just been a wonderful experience to take my own creative interests and apply it to something at MC.
That's great. Anyone else have any sort of outside experiences that helped and played into some of the choices you made at the college?
I actually want to ask Elia, did you have some experiences? Because you said you came, like so many students, with a general vague idea. How did you go from general vague idea to the University of Maryland College Park and an award-winning student? And let me just apologize for mispronouncing your name originally. I really want to make sure that we respect and make sure we make an effort to make everyone's name ring true. Elia?
All right. I mean, it's a difficult name to pronounce, I understand. And I had a couple different experiences that really kind of guided me. I had been working in the public health humanitarian, like NGO field for a while. I started off really young, actually. I was heavily involved in volunteering for local DC NGOs, basically from the time I could walk. And then in high school, I got involved with an international NGO that focused on orphans and women in areas of conflict. And from there, I got my first job. I started working as their communications associate my senior year. And from there, I went to a different NGO last year, actually. And I've been working specifically on FGM/C and HIV/AIDS awareness and research. So I knew I was interested in public health, and I kind of knew I wanted to pursue medicine because I had, alongside my internships and my work, I had been doing 12 to 13-hour shifts at shock trauma at the University of Maryland Medical Center. So I knew, generally speaking, that I was interested in public health, and I knew I was interested in medicine, but I was also really interested in engineering. I enjoyed engineering, and I also really liked political science and economics, and that was something that interested me, and I wanted to somehow bring in law into it, because, you know, being involved in the NGO field, you become heavily involved in like human rights and human rights activism naturally. So my different experiences kind of guided me to pick public health because it allowed me to both gain work experience while completing a degree that I enjoyed and getting my medical school prereqs out of the way at the same time because they tended to overlap. And, you know, I knew that I was going to be in school for a while to complete medical school, and I do plan on pursuing a master's in epidemiology. So just the combination of the different experiences that I had kind of guided me to pursue public health and narrow my focus in the scholars program and at MC in general.
And it's a very impressive host of activities that you engage with that help lead you to where you are today. I'm most impressed with your thoughtful and very strategic approach. Thank you for doing that. Eric, where are we? And
Yeah,
of course, I have a million something.
There's a question that Elias sort of did just speak about. But I'd be curious if Cindy, I don't mean to be that teacher that calls on the students, but I'd be curious if Cindy or Liliana had any feedback on, did anything at the school change your focus? You entered as one thing and you ended up leaving as something else. What sharpened it? What helped bring it into focus? Or did you just start and knew exactly what you wanted to do?
Yes, I can definitely answer this. My answer is going to be a bit of both. I'm a little confused right now in terms of what I want to do, but I came in from high school to Montgomery College. I knew right away I wanted to be a physician assistant. I knew I wanted to work on my feet, work with people, engage with people, connect with people. And at Montgomery College, I started the yoga club, and through that, I've been able to connect to so many people, organizations and other clubs, but also just students who are figuring their way out in the world and are stressed. And that type of environment requires me to take the lead, to be vulnerable, for other students to also feel that safety and to feel vulnerable. And through all of that, I genuinely believe I've been able to provide some warmth and joy to people's lives, and that has only affirmed my belief that I want to enter medicine and to connect with people and help them heal. But actually, physician assistants, they are not allowed to open their own practice at the time because of regulations. And my experience as club president has led me to realize that I love being in that leadership role. I have a lot more confidence than I did when I first came to Montgomery College, which is a good thing. But now I'm a little confused in the fact that should I pursue physician assistant where right now I can't open my own practice?
Right.
Or should I continue with it because I do love engaging with people? So it's been a balance, but I am young. My life is just beginning. So I'm grateful for everything that I have learned, and I'm going to use it to figure out my path here on out.
It's great. What I'm hearing, Cindy, is you deep down inside want to be an animation major. So send me an email after this, and we'll get you connected with the right program. I'm sorry you got that incorrect advising.
Thank you.
No, but that's really wonderful. That's great. Yeah, because I always say that I think the purpose of education is to find out what you don't want to do, and it does. It involves a lot of questioning and gaining real experience about it. So yeah, I think you're on the right path.
Thank you.
So let me just take a moment to mention that all of you might want to just, when you get a chance, look at the chat. All of our faculty and staff here today are just taking this opportunity to remind you of how special you are and how much they've appreciated working with you. And they hope that you have a journey in the future that resembles and improves upon what you have learned at Montgomery College, and that we've started you off on the right path for you. So I'm going to let it go back to Eric here, but I'm going to ask one question before we go back to the chat questions. This has been a time where I'm sure Cindy will really resonate with, where mind and body, health, and well-being have been on the minds of most. This week, we've had some excellent professional development opportunities through our outstanding colleagues in Elite. And one of them I had the privilege to attend was about burnout. And one of the things that happens when faculty or staff or anyone is facing the potential for burnout that they may not even be aware of is they wonder, should I do this? Why am I doing this? Am I making a difference? And so let's take a moment here. And I'd like each of you to take an opportunity. We'll start with Lillian, to tell us who at the college was instrumental. Those people, one person, a few people, if you don't know their names, that's okay, where they come from. What was the difference they made to you? Why should they keep doing this work? Why does this matter?
Let's see, I have 3 people that come into mind. All my professors definitely have helped me in my journey at MC, but I would say that 3 professors come to mind. They're Professor Garrison Mogren, Professor Ranema and Dr. Ashcombe. They all, I feel like, went above and beyond to encourage me and really help me and show that they believed in me. And yes, their influence has been really amazing and motivated me to try my hardest, and I'm really appreciative of them. I would say that I know the virtual, it's easy to get discouraged, both students and professors in the virtual learning environment, because often you just see a screen with a name. But I would say that students can really tell if you believe in them. They can. I think they can tell. And when they sense that motivates them more. And just you all have been amazing, and I know it's been extremely rough, but I'm very appreciative that all of my professors really kept up their, what's it called, enthusiasm, and they're made very available office hours, and we notice that and we really appreciate that, and it really helps us. So thank you.
That is so inspiring. Thank you, Lillian. How about you, Audrey?
I have to say I've taken away something from each professor I've had. I always tried to go to their office hours and talk to them, meet with them after class and get to know them. And I do have 4 people who really did stand out to me at the college, which is the MBI academic advisement team. So Professor Weiser, Professor Bake, Professor Yer, and Mr. Lang. They have been so instrumental in helping me grow as a student, and I got to know all of them very well. They helped inspire me to continue my creative side. They pushed me out of my comfort zone and to do more public speaking, and they've helped me become a better student, a better peer, a better leader, and I've just learned so much from them, and I'll just take everything that they've taught me to heart and carry it throughout my next journey and throughout my life.
Well, I am not going to cry, as they say, but thank you for those very inspiring words. And now I'm going to go over to Elia and ask her, and then Cindy, to tell us who you'd like to recognize, who you'd like to mention.
I have 2 people actually. Miss Hackley from Student Life. She's amazing and such an amazing individual, and is always there to encourage you. And like what Lillian was saying, you really know when people believe in you. You really know when staff members believe in you. And, you know, she always encouraged me to push myself and always wanted me to, you know, push my own boundaries and the limitations that I had placed upon myself. So she's the first person right off the bat. I met her this year when I became a student senator, and from the beginning, she was just amazing, always so helpful and always so encouraging, and really wanted us to get involved with the MC community. My second person would be Professor Sun from the MC Scholars program. If you've met Professor Sun, she's a remarkable human being and such a gem. I had her my freshman year, and she continued emailing us. She would email us like internships that were coming up on scholarships and things that were just happening. And a lot of the scholarships and internships that she sent, I actually applied to, and I got to experience them, and they were amazing. And I wouldn't have discovered these programs or these opportunities without her. She wrote my letters of recommendation. Like Cindy, a lot of us actually asked Professor Sen to write us letters of recommendation. And that's part of the reason I'm going to UMD, is because I'm also a Frederick Douglass Scholar. And she wrote me this incredible letter of recommendation and really just checked up on me and made sure that everything was going well. And, you know, when I got responses back from colleges, she was the first person that I wanted to tell, and I would immediately email her about everything that was happening. So she's amazing, so incredible and really makes you, her passion for teaching and her passion for knowledge is just so contagious. It's amazing.
It is amazing and just reminds us of how important every one of our faculty and staff are. And you never know who will make that monumental difference. So thank you to Professor Sen and the others. But last but not least, Cindy, you're on. It's your chance.
I can't believe I have to go after Alea. That was so beautiful, Alea. And I completely agree with the things that all of the student panelists have shared. Professors who care about you, who show belief in you, they make all the difference. And especially in my STEM classes recently, professors who are willing to answer your questions no matter how stupid you feel that they are, professors who take that time. And if they can't do it during class because it's taking too long, opening up office hours or staying after class to do that. It helps so much because it's hard sometimes and it feels scary to ask questions, but as my confidence has grown throughout my time at Montgomery College, I've been able to ask more questions, and I think it's helped me grow a lot. But in terms of one specific faculty member who has helped me so much during my time at Montgomery College, Dr. Michelle Moran immediately came to my mind. She is one of the Montgomery Scholars faculty, so I did have her as a Montgomery Scholars professor. But beyond that, she's also the club advisor for yoga club, and she has always encouraged me to pursue anything that I want to do. She's always been there for me academically, encouraging me and reminded me of why I'm here and what I am working towards. And she's written most, if not all, of my letters of recommendation because I feel that we've connected at that level and we understand each other. And yes, I can't say enough good things about Dr. Moran. She has encouraged me so much. I am tearing up because it's been hard. It's not always been easy, but she has been a rock and like a guiding hand through it all. Thank you, Dr. Moran. I know you're here.
Well, and I just want to say that you have been so inspiring to our audience. You are so special, and we are so pleased to be able to have a important and not face to face, but here we are together to send you off on your next journey. You've got some great suggestions, by the way, in the chat of directions you might want to go, and many people who will look forward to the opportunity to help you and to virtually be with you as you go on to College Park or wherever you may be going. This is a great segue. I just want to thank you. I want everyone, if they will, take a moment to put out an emoji, to virtually clap, to thank Lillian, Elia, Audrey, and Cindy for being here, for being willing to talk and be on Zoom with us and to share their experience so that we could all have the benefit of their knowledge and what happened with them during one of the most unusual times, perhaps, in the history of higher education that we may ever experience. And they talked about the importance of their faculty. And they did a fabulous job in the Academic Affairs Division at 9 at recognizing our faculty, and our deans were superior as well as our chairs in providing background. Very briefly, I want to just share with you that we had a very successful year, and many faculty, in addition to those who are being recognized here by our students, who had a wonderful year and made it possible for all of us to have an experience and to make a difference in our students' lives. So please join me as their names come up in recognizing our faculty. The outstanding faculty member of the year was Professor Mary Robinson in English. If you would just say congratulations. We had a really great opportunity to hear more about all of her accomplishments. We have Professor Joanne Carl, who has personally been very supportive of my work, but even more importantly, has the Excellence in Service to the Institutional Community Award. Professor Joe Couch, who has the excellence in scholarly or professional accomplishment. Congratulations to Professor Couch. Professor Hubley, who got the Excellence in Teaching and Advising Award. Congratulations to you. And Professor Michael LeBlanc for his excellence in service to the institution or community. These are colleagues within our area and on our campus. And we are thrilled to be able to recognize all of their accomplishments, in addition to the faculty our students recognize today. Our part and Professor Monica Mishi, who was also mentioned by her chair, Terry Hurst. We also have Paul Baker, who got the Excellence in Teaching Award, Professor Amy Caratini, who got the Excellence in Scholarly or Professional Achievement Award, and Professor Luter, who got the Excellence in Teaching Award. This has been an exceptional year, but it has also been an exceptional year for innovation. And I just want to thank all of you for joining us this morning. I want to thank all of our students for their very inspiring words and for being here to tell us about that experience that they've had. I will, of course, be remiss if I didn't thank Eric Swanson for his expert analysis of our chat and for communicating all of the perspectives that were coming up in that chat. But I also need to personally thank the staff in the office of the Vice President and Provost, who make these meetings look simple when in fact they're not at all. That would be Catherine O'Brien, Ellen Wallace, and Raquel Bonet. And so it is my privilege and always my preference to end the meeting a little early by saying, have a great summer. Reflect on all you've accomplished. Remember how important you are. And these students have demonstrated this morning, which was our goal, that you know that you matter and that you have made a difference and that you will always be remembered for what you have done when you went above and beyond in one of the most unusual, challenging, innovative, and strange years we have ever had. And I hope to see all of you in person at some point in the future. Be well, have a great summer, and thank you again for being a part of the MC family. And Audrey, we're going to send you and Allah and Cindy and Lillian off with a MC shout. Everybody, please unmute. Let's all clap for our students. And then
Congratulations.